Good morning, everybody. Just to let you know, Peter's going to be monitoring the chat, and so will I. So when people have questions, we'll just put up our hand so that you can come to us when you're ready to come to us. Can everybody hear us well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Wow.
Good morning.
Awesome. I am so excited about this, you guys. Like, I am so excited. We do have a presentation put together, but before we get in, the emotion is overwhelming for me, so I'm just going to explain to you what's going on here. Jennifer's mom, Brenda, was somebody that took me into her home when I was a young girl, 14 years old. And as you know, if you know me, there was some childhood trauma and some problems for me in my childhood. And Jennifer is Brenda's daughter, and Jennifer was 7 years old, and I was 14. So I moved in, and I became the big sis. She became the little sis. That's how our relationship evolved. And over the years, it's just been this real loving relationship between us. And Jennifer is one of the most intelligent women I know, who has overcome struggles and obstacles of her own to become a successful businesswoman. So when I was out at the memorial service, we stopped by to see Jennifer, and we got talking about our related interests, and she was telling me about what she does, and I never took the time to learn what she really does. And when she was explaining to me her position as a director of safety management, I was blown away by, first of all, her knowledge, and second of all, her professionalism and her expertise. And so then came this discussion about having her come on and do some work here in the CEO Master Plan. So for those of you that are in the CEO Master Plan, this is not it. Jennifer is going to be working with us quite a bit over the next few months, so you're really going to get some experience here with her in her occupational health and safety. And for those of you watching live on Facebook, if you get a lot of value today and you want to know more, please let us know. We're going to go on with, we think it might be a 6-part series, depending on whether, I don't think we could get it done earlier, but if we had to extend it, we would. The idea is going to be that by the end of this series, you could create your own occupational health and safety program. Is that correct, Jen?
Yes, hopefully. I'll give you all.
Here is.
It'll
You'll
be
give
great.
us what?
All the knowledge and tools to be able to do it.
Yeah, she's amazing. So we're going to dive right into the scripted stuff to get us on track. But I just had this overwhelming of emotions I needed to share with you guys. So, and Jen, thanks for being here. I am so proud of you, and I'm so honored. I'm so honored that you came to help us with this stuff.
Thank you.
We don't need to see that. I had it all ready to go, guys. Like typical, right? I had the screens. I had it all ready to go. I'll get back to it. What do they say? 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. For those of you joining us on Facebook Live, welcome. And I'll be monitoring the comments to try and answer questions as I can. Just know that there's a lag. So you're seeing this about 5 seconds before we're saying it, or after we're saying it. So it might take me a little bit to get back to your comments, but I'll do my best. And welcome. We're so excited to have you here. Let me just 1 second, Jen. I'm just doing a little logistics here, and then I'll get going. Just about did an ad everyone, and then it's 256,000 followers, and I thought maybe that was a little overwhelming, so I chose not to do it.
Please not.
Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to get started here with the first slide. It's my great privilege to get to introduce Jen, so I'm going to read from the nervous. I don't know why, but let's just go ahead. Today, we have the privilege of tapping into the wealth and knowledge and experience from Jennifer Moore. Jennifer has not only witnessed, but actively contributed to the evolution of a health and safety management system. Her insights are a treasure trove for anyone to navigate the intricacies of health and safety with finesse. Join us in the enlightening journey as we glean invaluable insights, enriching our understanding and empowering our future endeavors. Well, feel like, oh, I'm just feeling so excited. Jennifer Morse, it's weird, right? I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to this stuff. Like, I get really excited over new knowledge, especially anything that can help us in our industry to be better employers, because being better employers immediately equates to having better business and attracting more elite clients and making more profits. So here is a bit about Jennifer's expertise. So Jennifer has worked the past 13 years with the same employer in senior supportive living. It's so amazing that quite often in the cleaning business community, there are so many people that are involved that are in the healthcare profession as well. She's been actively working in various positions within the same company. She started out as a food service aide, then she went to housekeeping, and then activity coordinator, administrative support, and now she's in the health and safety as a coordinator. She developed and maintained a health and safety management system for 250 employees. Holy smokes. Wow. Like, wow, Jen, that's amazing.
It's something that it's a team effort, and the managers do help a lot. And, as long as I'm able to provide the knowledge, then they can take it away. And that's what I'm hoping I can do for you guys as well.
That sounds amazing. You provide worksite orientation for your new hires and coordinate with your managers to ensure employees are trained and confident in the job and in the positions they work. That it sounds like a lot. Like, that sounds amazing. Manage injury claims and complete incident investigations to determine the root cause and implements corrective actions and control measures. And you report injuries to WCB insurance and manage modified work for injured employees, which I am going through right now with an employee that injured himself on the job. And I think that we actually spoke about that when I came to see you. That's what kind of struck up this conversation. And I have been improving my systems, but all along thinking about you and what would be the next step. So I'm really excited about this today as well. And I want those of you to know, if you are not in Canada, that we did some preliminary research and we found that a lot of the systems are the same, because in Canada it's called Occupational Health and Safety, and in the States it's called OHS, I believe. And it's basically, it's the same parameters. It's just that it doesn't hurt to speak to a lawyer or legal representative along the way when you're creating your systems to make sure that everything is legal. And I always say, anytime you create a system like this that creates requirements for your employees on a legal standpoint, that you should take it and have a lawyer look over the final draft before you make it a policy or a procedure anyway, or what do you call it, legislation. So always know that we are not giving legal advice here. We are giving you practical advice. So let's cast off our preconceptions, embrace curiosity. Let's dive into the deep waters of knowledge. Our journey of learning begins now. Let's begin our quest for understanding. Everybody okay with that? Thumbs up? Can I get a like or a heart in the comments? If you're not okay with it, I have a beach that I can go to. although we did invite Jen, so maybe we should.
You might have a house full.
I've got a house full of geckos. They're everywhere. Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide, and I think this is your chance, Jen. I think that it would be really good if you just give me a thumbs up or something when you want me to go to the next slide, in case I get confused.
Okay, I can do that. I am struggling with wanting to see everybody and being able to talk to people's faces, but I have to read the slide and talk as well. So forgive me if I'm going back and forth between talking to people and trying to read the slide. So Today, I want to talk to you about benefits of incorporating an occupational health and safety management system to your business. And Carrie, we can go to the next slide. So implementing an OHS, which is our Occupational Health and Safety Management System, has a holistic impact on businesses, encompassing employees' well-being, productivity, reputation, legal compliance. I mean, that there is one of the reasons, but there's so many other benefits to having a health and safety management system. When I talk about employees' well-being, employees want to feel valued, and they want to make sure that their employer cares for their well-being. By promoting and demonstrating health and safety, this is going to encourage employees to want to work with you. And it's also going to increase your employee retention, productivity, and then reputation. And the reputation, I know, is big in your guys' industry, and making sure you have clients and employees that are happy. And getting more clients means more business, more employees, and it honestly, health and safety is very important to everyone, not just for a legal compliance, but you also get to have cost savings because you're managing health and safety, which means less injuries. And then you have the sustainable partnerships as well. Creating a culture of health and safety, well-being, and responsibility permits the organization and resonates with partners, clients, and stakeholders. This ultimately leads to more resilient, reputable, and successful business. You can go to the next slide. So why should you implement occupational health and safety into your company? Adhering to the OHS legislation isn't just about compliance. So it's about transforming your business into a beacon of safety, well-being, and responsibility. By embracing a culture of safety, you'll not only protect your employees, but also unlock a world of opportunities for growth, partnerships, and success. So the health and safety program boils down to the 3 rights. And it doesn't matter if you're in Canada or US, those 3 rights are always what we go back to when we're trying to navigate our health and safety system. So the right to know of any hazards that are present in the workplace, the right to participate in any health and safety discussions, and then the right to refuse dangerous work if there's any dangerous work. So the right to know about any hazards that are in the workplace, you could have them addressed on a hazard assessment. And that's really the hub for our health and safety program. And then safety data sheets is also a way for the employees to know of any hazards that are associated with the chemicals. And I know chemicals are used in your guys' business every day, all day. So it's probably one of the biggest hazards that you associate yourself with. And employees have the right to know. So on those safety data sheets, it will express all the PPEs and all of the hazards and everything that you need to put in place in order to have those chemicals around. And then we also talk about health and safety at regular staff meetings. Maybe you have a newsletter or emails. You're informing employees of hazards and safety updates at all times. You can go to the next slide. And the right to participate. So during those staff meetings or health and safety committee meetings, you have the right to participate. Every employee has the right to participate. And employee training, you also get to participate in, and that makes you understand your job better and also be competent in your job. And then you have the right to participate by reporting any hazards that are present in your workplace. And then the employer has the right to put in control measures that will make it so that your hazards are less and your risk mitigating is what you're doing. Next slide.
Nothing happened. Sorry.
Sorry.
I dropped off. I dropped off for a minute. Did everybody hear everything? Because I dropped off. Peter, you're on mute. Jen, can you hear me right now?
I can hear you. Yeah.
I dropped off for a second. Did it drop off for everybody or just me?
No, it dropped off for everybody.
Okay, sorry, Jen.
That's okay.
Did you want to start again?
Yeah, I'll start off with the right to participate again. So every employee has the right to participate in any health and safety discussions. That could be through the health and safety committees. That could be participating through employee training, making sure that they are competent to do their job. And then obviously the employer would be making procedures, would make it for the employee to know how to do their job, and again, competency. And then the employee also has the right to participate by reporting hazards. And then you can go to the next. And then the right to refuse dangerous work. This is, for example, if you're heading to a client's home and there's a dog in the backyard, you know that the dog's not able to get in the house, you're able to enter the home. But if the dog's not in the backyard, maybe you don't enter that home because that dog could be a potential hazard. So examples of a right to refuse dangerous work is you would not enter that home and refuse to go clean that home until the dog has been contained into the backyard. So you get to, the employee is basically refusing to go into that home and do their job until that hazard's been eliminated. And
So
that
would any,
sorry,
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just saying then that would be reported, investigated, and then corrective measures would be implemented to make it so that that hazard doesn't happen again.
I wonder if anybody in our audience might have any examples of a time where somebody might implement their 3 rights. They are a quiet crew. It looks like they don't have any suggestions. Peter, do you have a suggestion of a time when an employee might enforce their 3 rights?
Yeah, one of the main ones would be if you were to go to a house and you find that there's construction going on in the home. You know, anything could be, whether they leave tools kind of laying around. Maybe we've gone into post-construction quite a few times where there's still people doing work. So you got to be cognizant of what's going around, and you'd be like, hey, they're in all these bathrooms, they've got everything ripped apart and we really can't clean them. You know, it's a lot of times it's not a refusal to work, but they're just more looking for a reason, like what do I do in this situation? So I know for us, like we've had them, we get the call at the office and they're like, you know, this stuff going on, and we'll tell them, we're like, well, we're not working. Come home, we'll go back tomorrow. You know, it happens quite often with a post-construction clean where you have it booked and next thing you know, you're actually going in 2 or 3 days later because they really aren't finished. So it falls under the same category, but it's not, you know, in words, it's not the same, but it really is. You know, and in any sorts, you know, can't get up to the house because it's on a slope and it's all mud, and you know, there's a lot of different scenarios, but those are just a couple that I've seen in our time of cleaning.
Is he on the right track, Jen?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Peter, for that. That was a good example. And again, the employer would then make sure that they're exercising the employee's right to know of those hazards. So that's why it's so important to have the communication with the clients beforehand and knowing if the construction is still going on, and then they wouldn't enter. And then the right to participate in any health and safety discussions. So then if you addressed with the employees that there may or may not be construction going on, what control measures are you putting in place while the construction's going on? And maybe one of them is just not going there during that time because there's too many risks. And then you go into that refusal to come to do your job until the construction's over, like you had expressed. So that's perfect. Yeah, great, perfect example.
Thanks, Peter.
No worries.
So what does a occupational health and safety management system look like? First, it starts with the company's commitment to health and safety. Then we get into like orientation and training with the employees, making sure that they're competent to perform their job. What we do next is a hazard assessment. And I had explained the hazard assessment is the hub to the wheel. So it's going to put everything into a central location, all the job tasks, what hazards are associated with those job tasks, and what control measures are put into place to control those hazards. Hazard control can be either eliminating, substituting, engineering, administrative, or the last line of defense before it hits the worker is PPE. So if you have a chemical that is really potent, maybe you're going to substitute it for something that's less potent. Then we get into engineering controls. That is a guard in place at the source. So maybe you have splash guards, or maybe you have some type of chemical dispenser that you're using that dilutes the chemical so that the employee is not actually dispensing the chemical or mixing chemicals. We get into administrative controls, and those are policies, procedures, safe work practices, maybe a sign, maybe just a simple caution sign saying wet floor. And then the last line of defense, like I said, PPE, personal protective equipment, your goggles, your gloves, your face masks, gloves that you wear, yeah, that sort of thing. Then we get into workplace incidents. So if there was a hazard, a near miss, an injury or illness or property damage, that would be reported to you as the employer, and your employee has the right to participate in that. And then we would investigate it and find a root cause and come up with a procedure. Maybe there was no procedure performed. Maybe the employee had a procedure but was unaware of that procedure, so we need to train them. So then the investigation will make it sure this does not happen again. Workplace inspections, this can be informal. Before you begin work, you're scouting the area, making sure that it's safe to complete your duties. And then formal, this could be like an actual workplace inspection that you document and report any hazards that are on there. And lastly, an emergency response plan. So what happens if the fire alarm goes off? Does the employee leave the home, call 911? What happens if they had an incident of an aggressive person? What do they do then? Those are plans that we should have in place for our employees. And these are all for the health and safety management system. Now, I know you guys are probably doing a lot of the policies, procedures, administrative stuff. And I know a lot of this is probably in the works, but it just centralizes it so that you're compliant with health and safety with the legislation and requirements for your either Canada or the US. And that way you can say, I'm doing this. And again, it goes back to the 3 rights and the employee feeling supported and safe. And that's huge buy-in, right? So I'd like to ask you guys for you to take away some thoughts. How is your company committed to health and safety? And then, are you doing a lot of those health and safety things already? They just maybe need to be centralized. And that's all I had. I want to thank you guys very much for your time. And I truly appreciate that you're interested in the importance of health and safety in your company, in your business, for your employees, and for your future clients. And I look forward to having continued discussions about this and collaboration with you to make a health and safety program for your businesses.
Thank you so much, Jen. Can you hear me very well right now? Yeah. Just so let's open this up for conversation. Oh yes, I should thank you. I'll thank you after. It's not time for thank you yet. It's time for open conversation. So let's open this up for conversation. First of all, can we have, by a show of hands or anybody who's willing to speak on the subject, tell me where you're at with your safety plan. If I have no show of hands, I'm going to come and I'm going to call on you guys because I really want to open up the discussion here. And I think we're probably all a little bit shy because we don't have anything in place. And so this is like, you know, we're going to have okay, let me just be honest. This is an AA meeting for occupational health and safety. Hello, I am Carrie and I do not have an occupational health and safety plan.
It's okay.
I'm embarrassed by it and I am I feel like I'm failing because this should have already happened. Like, here I am, CEO master plan. You know, I preach to people about having systems and processes in place, but on this one, I'm going to say we do have something in place, but it really is not anywhere near where it should be. And so I think I'm not alone. And I found that when I'm failing at something, that generally there are a lot of other people failing. Now, many people in this room and on Facebook Live are new or just starting out. So, you know, now's a great time for them to start. But some of us have been in this business for 30 years and still don't have it in place. And so how do we get started?
Are you asking me or are you asking the clients?
I'm asking you, and I'm asking anybody to chime in if they want to. Because I feel like perhaps there's some questions in there feeling intimidated to ask because it's embarrassing, at least to me, to know that I haven't given as much thought to this as I should.
We have a few things, but it's only a handful. For us, it's no open-toed shoes. You have to. We supply nitro gloves. So people don't get any chemical burns and stuff on their hands from using some of the product. What else is there?
We have procedures in place, basically.
Yeah, but nothing's really written in stone.
Okay.
Per se.